They went out and got Glowinski to play guard, and they went out and got Feliciano from the Bills. So they added 2 offensive linemen, which they needed desperately, right?
Jose, the blind singer?
Well, actually, John, but Jose's younger brother.
Gotcha. Okay.
They signed a long snapper. I couldn't tell you much about Casey Kreider, and they signed the cornerback named Jaron Williams. So those are the moves they made. The Giants made those 5. The Jets, on the other hand, we've been somewhat busy as a Jet fan.
You have been.
I mean, listen, the Jaguars are all over the place, but the Jets have made a few moves. We signed Laken Tomlinson, one of the premier guards in the free agent pool. We took him from San Francisco, so he'll play. Only issue with him is he was a left guard. Now he's going to have to play right guard because the kid's going to stay there. Vera Tucker, I think it is. He's going to stay on the left side.
Especially since he was really an Old Spice guy.
Oh, absolutely.
So
we re-signed Braxton Berrios, which was a big deal, but we signed as a free agent tight end CJ Uzoma from the Bengals. So that was a big move. We signed a new cornerback named DJ Reed, who was pretty much the number 1 over in Seattle. So that was pretty nice. And we signed a safety in Jordan Whitehead from the Bucs. So the Jets have been busy. We also re-signed Flacco for a year, Tevin Coleman. We brought back Nathan Shepard, LaMarcus Joyner. So we brought back a few guys as well. But
now here's the question: going into the draft, everybody thought that they were going to beef up their lines and stuff like that. Where do you think they go with 4 and 10 now?
I want the safety at 4, even though we signed a safety. I like the kid out of Notre Dame. And at 10, I would try to trade back and just take best player. They could go wide receiver. They could try to get another receiver to go along with the guys that they have. Right. I mean, I still think they need another pass rusher. So there's a lot of different moves that the Jets can make. Listen, it's a team with a lot of holes. It's not like they're one player away, like the Bills went out and got Von Miller and here we go. Right. Well, the Jets and the Giants are both in a scenario where just add as much talent as you can. Right. Get the best available player. If there's a glaring need, you fill it. If not, just get the best player. And if he's better than the guy you have, he starts, your other guy goes, and you're still better. That's kind of where we are. The good thing about the NFL, more so than other sports, is you can turn your fortunes around in a season. Right. The Cincinnati Bengals in 2 years went from laughing stock to Super Bowl. So anything can happen.
Well, let's see what happens with Seattle after Seattle dumped Russell Wilson. What they get? 2 1s, 2 2s.
Yeah, I mean, and they got players. They got Fant and who's a really good tight end, and they re-signed Drizzly, which I was surprised they spent so much on the tight end position. I guess they're just going to sit there and throw to the tight end all day. Right. I mean, but they still have Metcalf and they still have Lockett, and at
the moment.
At this time, I mean, you never know. I don't know if Lockett's going to garner anything in the trade market, but I know Metcalf could. Right. Also interesting, we'll talk about guys, Baker Mayfield went out and thanked the Browns fans yesterday. Well, good. So maybe. I don't know if he knows something that we don't know yet, but
who's gonna keep an eye on Brown Stadium?
I mean, have you ever seen a more mediocre player get more ads than Baker Mayfield? I mean, he's an average, maybe slightly above average quarterback. I wouldn't even call him that.
I hear you.
That has a lot of endorsement deals. You don't see Josh Allen anywhere. He's much better. But anyway, that's what. Anyway, I mean, you see Mahomes and you see Rodgers. You expect to see those guys.
And we'll see what happens with Deshaun. Deshaun, all of his legal stuff has been taken care of. No charges.
Rumor is that he's going to the Saints or the Panthers. I mean, listen, he's going to spend millions in civil suits, and apparently 20 plus women complaining about you isn't enough to have an indictment against you.
There's not enough evidence when 21 women said that you sexually harassed or abused them.
I mean, it is hysterical that, what money can do.
I mean, I think if he got to 23, then we have a case.
Yeah, 22, 23, but 21 is,
Nah, it's just
you don't hit on 21. Anyway.
No, you don't. Yeah, always hold on 21. But so Deshaun's out there now. But
he'll be either they say a Saint or a Panther.
He's no saint, brother.
Well, but he might fit in very well there.
Right. But we were starting with, and then I, of course,
we're talking about the Tom Brady.
This goes, you know what? We always talk about how he can go out, he can play a football game, even if he has a bad game. He's going home to Giselle Bundchen. Apparently,
it's not a tough life. I mean, there are people that have it harder than he does.
But apparently, it is a tough life because he could only stay home with her for 40 days, and now he wants out.
That's the funniest part is that, it's like that old, you ever see the old Seinfeld episode where, why are you getting married? They're man-made prisons.
Yeah.
You wake up, she's there.
Yeah.
You got to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You don't get to watch TV while you're eating dinner because it's dinner time and you talk about your day. This is what happened to Brady, and now Brady couldn't handle it. And I can't blame him. And I'm happily married, and I still can't blame him.
Oh, well, your wife is much more attractive than Gisele.
Oh, well, in my eyes, yes. I can't say everybody will feel the same, but for me, as is yours, by the way.
Yeah. You know what? My wife is actually more of a Kate Beckinsale because I guess if you want to compare it to Gisele, that's all right too.
Yeah, that's just the way it works.
But my wife is not a bitch like Gisele apparently because I
don't mind being home with my wife.
I got nowhere else to go. I got to be honest with you.
Pretty much. Who the hell wants you?
I got nowhere else to go.
But now Tom is back. The center Jensen came back. I wouldn't be surprised if Gronk comes back.
Well, Gronk's coming back, bro.
The Bucs will be loaded again. And the Rams just lost, Von Miller. Not that he was a huge part of the team, but Whitworth retired. There's a few things that have happened to the Rams where they'll come back to the pack.
Right.
The Bills just made themselves better on the other sides, but Tom doesn't have to worry about that because he's not on the Patriots anymore. He plays for the Bucs. If he gets Deshaun Watson in the division, that'll be a little exciting.
Who did the Buffalo sign a back this week?
Buffalo.
Top of my head.
What, a defensive back? Or what are you talking about, a running back?
36 timeout.
Oh, well, no. You don't need a timeout. They signed an offensive lineman. They signed Roger Saffold. They signed Von Miller. They signed O.J. Howard. They signed Tim Settle and Saran Neal. They didn't sign a running back, dude.
I think you're wrong, buddy.
I'm just looking at it.
Buffalo Bills. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd.
No reason to sing.
Yeah. What do you mean?
No, but Denver's made a lot of moves too, obviously. They brought up Randy Gregory. They brought him back. The Lions brought in a couple of receivers that might help with DJ Shark and Reynolds. The Packers obviously franchise tagged Adams, so he's not going anywhere.
Right.
So there's a lot of interesting things, but the Bills have not signed that running back that you're expecting. But you know who the Jacksonville Jaguars did sign was Evan Engram. I don't know how you're going to survive.
No, you're not.
You're just not going to make it. You're just not going to be able to survive without him. The Chiefs brought in Justin Reed to play safety, which means that Tyrann Mathieu is going to be out there.
Right.
There's a lot of things going on. I mean, there's a lot of moves. The NFL is crazy the first few days of free agency. The Chargers were the team that actually did a lot, though. The Chargers went out there, re-signed Mike Williams. They brought in Austin Johnson from the Giants. They made a trade for Khalil Mack. They brought in the cornerback J.C. Jackson from the Pats. They made some really big, notable moves. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
Apparently, you forgot about Mr. J.D. McKissick, who actually was a huge part of the Guardians' offense.
The third down back. This is what you're going with. This is what
That's
you're trying
what
to get
I'm going with because you know what? Because Singletary was their guy out of the backfield.
He still is their guy.
Listen, and now McKissick is going to be the guy. He's going to take away time from McKissick.
McKissick's a third down back. Singletary will still be the guy.
Nah, he's going to take stuff away. I wouldn't draft.
Well, listen. Let's be honest. That Buffalo team had Brady. They had Singletary. They had
Moss.
Who was that?
Moss.
Yeah, they had Zach Moss. They had a three-headed monster. Now it's just McKissick, who's another pass catcher, but he's not. He doesn't run the ball like Singletary does. Singletary runs harder.
Yeah, he runs harder, but he just took away those third down carries and third down.
But you see 2 years, $7 million, you realize they're not paying him to be a starter.
Well, that's true, but I think
nonetheless, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Does Buffalo,
he's a nice pickup,
right? Does he make Buffalo better?
Of course he does.
So?
Is he better than Matt Breida? Probably. Is he better than Moss? I think so.
Yeah.
He's better than Singletary? He's different than Singletary. I think he's a better pass catcher. I think Singletary's a better runner.
Right.
So it's going to be Buffalo's all in. All right. They went after Von Miller. They're all in. They're going to go for it. They have the window with Allen. what they saw was that the Bengals passed them on the pecking order, right? Which, you know, they're saying to themselves, we're better than the Bengals. We think we're better than the Chiefs, and the Bengals passed the Chiefs in the pecking order this year too. So now the Chiefs can't afford to do any moves, but the Bills can, and the Bills are doing it right now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Patriots and the Jets in that division, and the Dolphins with the new coach, because Flores is a pretty good coach.
By the way, Von Miller, 6 years, $120 million.
Exactly. It's not all guaranteed, but you know what? It's still a lot of freaking money, man.
You know what? He's probably got about, I don't know what it is, but I would probably imagine at least $50 million of that is guaranteed. So even if he only plays 2 or 3 years, that ain't bad money for two or 3 years of playing football.
No, it's good money for a guy that's going to help. He's really going to help them a lot. I mean, I don't see the guaranteed money yet. I can't find that stat. Right. But you know what? It's a big signing. You know what? The Chargers got better with Khalil Mack if he could stay healthy. The Bengals were already there. The Broncos got better. You know, so all of a sudden, and you know, the Titans are still with a 1 seed. Let's not forget about that. They got rid of Julio Jones today. They released Julio. Julio down at the schoolyard. But they are, you know, they're still a factor. You know, so. You know, the Browns have a lot of talent if they can ever figure out the quarterback position. So AFC is going to be, you know, really exciting this year. It's going to be fun. For the Jets. Jets will be watching it, but everybody else will be there.
Not as big, but the Bills also signed O.J. Howard today for $3.5 million for 1 year.
Yeah, he'll help them at tight end. He'll be the backup to Knox because Knox really emerged.
Right, Knox is 100%.
Knox is the starter, but O.J. Howard gives him that 2 tight end set. Mm-hmm. You know, they still have good. I mean, Gabriel Davis emerged as like a star in that Chief game. Right. I mean, where he went from like first round pick that might be the third receiver to now, you know, Diggs is going to be having the fight for balls and Beasley's released and all this stuff's happening because they have that kind of talent at receiver. They have that talent at wide receiver. They have it at tight end. They certainly have it at quarterback, and they're trying to figure out a way to make it a running back.
Yep.
But the Giants took Feliciano, and that's going to hurt.
Hey, and I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. So, Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
And, you know, and as we come to a conclusion, you know, this is your stuff.
College basketball. We talked about it the other day, my friend. This is the true March Madness. This is, again, when everything's said and done, this is my favorite sport. I don't know. Right. Most people would laugh at that, especially living in this area where St. John's hasn't been competitive since 1962. Exaggeration. They've been good in the 80s, in the 90s, and the 2000s. Just haven't been good in a while. I like the direction of the team, but nonetheless. So, you know, Final Four picks for me. Again, after looking through it, I think Gonzaga gets through in the West. I think that I think Rutgers, if they win tonight in the play-in game, is a team that can cause a lot of problems. I think Rutgers can go relatively far as a local team here. I think UCLA.
You're not saying Final Four. You're not saying Final Four, though, right?
No, I say Final Eight because I think Gonzaga beats them. I think that UCLA will be a team that gets to the Final Four. I think they'll beat Baylor this year. Okay. And I think they'll beat Purdue to get to the 4. So that's my 8 to the 4. I think that Tennessee will be a Final Four team. Tennessee is I don't know. They played really well in the SEC tournament, but they've been pretty good the whole second half of the year. They beat Auburn. They beat Kentucky twice. I think they'll beat Illinois in the 8 to get to the 4. And I think Auburn finds their way to the 4, and they beat Providence to get there. So my Final Four is Gonzaga, Tennessee, UCLA, and Auburn. My championship game is Tennessee, UCLA, and my champion are the Tennessee Volunteers to cut down the nets. That's what I like. You know what that means? Absolutely nothing. Because, again, like I said the other day, the winner of the pool last year was my then 14-year-old daughter. So it doesn't really matter what you know, what you think you know. It's a bunch of college kids that on any given night can shoot the ball 3 for 21 from 3 and lose a game even though they're the better squad. Right. That's why one and done is exciting. Maybe not be fair, but it's very, very exciting. You're in the pool. You don't know what you're doing, but you're in it. You have as good a chance to win it as I do.
Yeah, I've got Gonzaga beating Texas to get to the Final Four. I've got Kentucky beating North Carolina to get to the Final Four. And then I've got Arizona beating your champion, Tennessee, and Iowa beating Auburn to get to the Final Four, with Arizona beating Gonzaga at the end. How did I come up with this? I just picked things.
Well, you got two of the best teams in the country. So you got the 2 best teams playing each other in the final. So not like going out on a limb, you know.
Yeah, of course. It's not like last year. What? Last year, everybody's bracket was busted after the second day.
No, I know.